Common theme is, we voted for this. You knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives.
It will never be lost on me that a lot of people that are regretting their vote for Donald Trump are not regretting it because of the harm that is being inflicted upon other people. No, no, no. That's not the reason why. They are regretting it because they're feeling the effects of that harm that they thought was going to be inflicted upon other people. You see, if a lot of these people were actually looking outward and saying, damn, he's doing this to other communities, and I feel bad because I voted for this, and I feel bad because this is happening to other communities. But we know, specifically black and brown people, more specifically black people know, that if it was only impacting us, if the only harm that was being inflicted was on our community, a lot of these people that voted for Donald Trump wouldn't care, especially if they weren't feeling the effects of the harm that they voted for, that they thought was only going to impact people that were not attached to them. You see, what a lot of people need to do when it comes to what happened in this last election is a internal self-reflection within their communities. And as I've said on many occasions, this country has never really, truly voted for progress. And the reason why that doesn't happen is in the very DNA of this country, that white supremacy that is at the core of this nation, where a lot of white people see progress when it comes to other groups of people that are not white as a handout. But when white people are struggling and the government is forced to do something for them, they see that as deserving. And that's something that needs to be revamped, rethought about, reimagined. Because here's the reality. White supremacy does not benefit even poor white people. Ultimately, you will become a victim of the very system that you enforce with your vote.
Hello brothers and sisters, hope you all doing well from where you're watching me at. Welcome back to the channel. Now some of the white folks are coming out publicly to confess that they thought that poverty and suffering was for the black people. And I like it because reality is now hitting them. Because they have, all over the years, white people have lived to lie on the black people. They have lived to claim that, oh, black people are lazy, black people this and that, black people depend on the government welfare for their survival in the United States. They have lived to claim that black people are drug traffickers, black people don't like working, black people are poor, black people are not, learned people. But now, reality has knocked on their door. Yeah, so let's dive direct into this video, and I'll be right back with more commentary. See you shortly.
Somebody, please explain to me, who raised these people? What the fuck is wrong with them?
We are huge Trump supporters. If you didn't get the email on Monday, you're safe. And I'm like skipping down the halls, right? Like, I get to stay. Wednesday, late afternoon, I received a notice that I have an appointment, a Teams appointment with my supervisor on Friday at 9 o'clock. So I knew that I wasn't safe anymore.
You were skipping down the hall. You were so excited when you thought you were safe. You knew others were suffering and gonna suffer, but you knew you were safe. You were cool with it.
Cutting costs and waste and fraud and. We love that big picture. I love that big picture. My friends, we were excited about that because it is true.
I could just picture you and your friends, glasses of cheap fucking wine, just laughing over others and how others are gonna get affected.
The common theme is, we voted for this. You knew this was coming, but we didn't. Like, nobody that I've talked to understood the devastation that having this administration in office would do to our lives, but other people that we love and care about too within the Mid-Ohio Valley.
There it is. It's only when you're affected that you actually feel bad about something. You don't have any regrets for everyone else. It's that you got affected. You're despicable. You're disgusting. How does it feel?
It's hard. It's wrecking.
Good.
You ever hear somebody say that black people weren't really affected by the Great Depression? We were not immune to the worst economic crisis the U.S. had seen up until that point. Not only were we affected, we were hit first. We were hit hardest. And we were left out of the recovery process. Let's talk facts. By 1932, half of black Americans were unemployed. That's double the rate of white workers. In cities like Chicago and Atlanta, white workers demanded that Black employees be fired first to make room for other white job seekers. Even relief programs and soup kitchens turned Black families away. Or if they did take them, they gave them the bare minimum, while white families got full assistance. But here's the part they don't really talk about: how the effects of this still impact us today. The Great Depression created the modern wealth gap, right? After the Depression, the US government poured money into home loans to help Americans recover, but Black people were locked out of that. Redlining ensured that Black neighborhoods were labeled as high risk, so banks refused to give Black families home loans. Today, only 44% of Black Americans own homes, compared to 74% of white Americans, because we were never given the same starting point. Generational wealth was stolen from the start. While white families got government aid, loans, and economic recovery programs, Black families got left behind. That's why even today, the median wealth of a white family is nearly 10 times that of a Black family. The financial setbacks that Black families faced weren't just about the Depression. They were about who was allowed to recover and who wasn't. No, Black people weren't unaffected by the Great Depression. We were targeted, excluded, and systematically denied the opportunities that helped white families rebuild. And the effects of that are still shaping who owns, who thrives, and who struggles today. They don't teach this for a reason. But history didn't just happen. It created the system that we're living in right now. And if we don't keep talking about it, they'll just keep pretending that it didn't exist.
Just finished a morning run, sweating bullets, but I have to say this while I'm thinking about it. Almost every week, I see someone ask the question, why are white men so angry? And while I cannot begin to expound on the many reasons why that might be, what I can say is this: I view all social problems through a lens of societal systems, because as a sociologist, that's what I'm trained to do. And here is the design flaw in systems of privilege. When you build systems of hierarchy and privilege, when you build systems of hierarchy and privilege, the privilege is actually what weakens you. The privilege makes you weak because when you socialize an entire group of people to believe that I exist, therefore I deserve. I exist, therefore I am entitled. I exist, therefore the path of prosperity should be laid out very cleanly ahead of me, and I don't have to work hard, and I don't have to struggle, and I don't have to dig deep. I just have to receive. Meanwhile, you are socializing all other groups to survive with less resources, with less privilege. And so as a byproduct of their survival, they are becoming adaptable, resilient, creative, resourceful. They are developing the muscle for survival that they subsequently turn into systems for success and prosperity. Meanwhile, the privileged group is not developing these systems. And when they start to see the disenfranchised group becoming stronger, gaining opportunities, building systems of success, rather than say, hey, maybe we ought to be doing that too, no. Privilege doubles down. Privilege digs deep into the well of anger and grievance and says, you are the reason why I can't be successful. You are taking opportunities away from me and my children and generations. And so now, rather than develop the muscle of resilience, what I'm going to do now is start taking privileges away from you. And now I'm going to start taking your resources. And now I'm going to start burning your house down in hopes that you will get back to where I think you ought to be, which is underneath me. Not realizing that the more you do that, the more privileges you take away, the more systems of success you try to dismantle, you are only making them more creative, more adaptable, more resilient, and more resourceful. So it becomes this Ouroboros, this snake eating its own tail, because the very system that you designed to uplift yourself is actually the one that is putting you far behind, because you never develop the muscle, the work ethic, the resilience, the innovation, and the creativity as the disenfranchised group.
When people ask me why I was such a diehard Trump supporter, this was the reason why. Because of this comment right here, I felt like this. I felt like that in 2024 that white men were the only people who were legally discriminated against. In fact, I'll take it a step further. It was the white, straight, Christian, conservative male that would be discriminated against in 2024 in the United States of America. We had tolerance for everyone else but us. And truth be told, it wasn't until I realized how ignorant and uneducated I truly was that I began to think and feel and live differently. Growing up in a society and a system that by design centers and caters white, straight, Christian males, anytime you see any other type of inclusivity, any type of diversity, equity, and inclusion, it will begin to feel like oppression. And that's sad that this is the truth about the world that we live in today. And people say all the time that if we just stop talking about racism, that it will go away. People believe that because they don't experience interpersonal racism, that it doesn't exist on an institutional or a systemic level. But it's because of comments like this that we know it's alive and well. People will be like, well, we don't have a white entertainment channel, or we don't have historically white colleges. We don't have a white history month. We don't have white-owned businesses. When literally whiteness has been the standard in this country since the birth of the nation. I remember when I first started seeing interracial commercials, and I would get so mad, I'd be so triggered. And I'd say things to myself and to friends and family, I don't care what you do, I don't care about interracial dating, but why do they have to shove this down our throat? And the same thing with gay pride or trans talk. I would get so triggered, I don't care what you do, but why do you have to shove it down our throat? Could you imagine for 1 second being a member of one of these marginalized groups growing up in this country? What it must feel like to have whiteness or straightness or Christianity shoved down your throat every single second of the day? And then when you begin to question it or try to create a safe space for yourself, you're told to go live in another country if you don't like it. Or stop being the victim. Or don't blame the system, you need to take personal accountability. And this is the question I have for people who get upset about it, because I know a lot of people in my everyday life are still upset about it. Why are you so triggered? How hard is it to deconstruct and re-educate? And why are we so afraid to do so? Are we that insecure? Are we that fragile? Are we that mediocre that we cannot compete in a world that has a level playing field and equal opportunity for every single person? I mean, hell, if we really think about it, if we really want to get mad, we need to get mad at our ancestors. We had a 400-year head start, and many of us are still living in the trailer park. But for real, though, why does inclusivity feel like oppression to us? Why do we get so triggered? Why do we think it's a zero-sum game? Why do we look at it as a piece of pie in which if somebody else gets a piece of the pie that we don't get our piece? And I have a very unpopular belief that I'm going to share with you, and I stand on it, and many people are going to be triggered by this. But in 2024, if you're white in America, you're racist. Unless you've actively chosen to do the work to become less racist. But by default, if you're born into this system with our institutions, the way that we are taught, programmed, and conditioned, through no fault of your own, you have been taught and programmed to be racist. And this is why education is so important. And don't take it personal. I'm not attacking your character unless you willfully refuse to learn. I'm attacking your education and your beliefs. And I challenge you to become willing to see the world from a different perspective. That's all. That simple. So ask yourself this question. One simple question. Are you up for the task? Are you willing to learn?
White people are the main recipients of food stamps, of SNAP. They're also the same demographic that voted for Trump. These niggas are online bitching and crying about how they can't afford food. You can't make this shit up, bro. Like, you can't. I just saw a video of this lady saying, oh, her son can't eat in school no more because of Trump, and now he can't eat at home. Whose fucking fault is that? You voted for him. Like, when I say the Republican Party got to be the dumbest demographic of people, period. Like, you niggas are dumb. Like, y'all are severely stupid. Like, it ain't funny because niggas is starving, but your idiocy is just so fucking hilarious. Oh my God, bro. Y'all thought this shit wasn't gonna affect y'all. That's why y'all voted the way y'all did. Now look, you hungry, your son hungry, all y'all niggas hungry and broke. Cause Trump only care about rich niggas.
Welcome back. Yes, so some of the white folks are coming out publicly to confess that they thought that poverty and suffering was for the black people until it knocked on their door. Until reality hits them. Because of the current economic crisis in the United States. And majority of the people who are complaining are the white folks, are the MAGA supporters. Because they have lived to believe that poverty and suffering is for the black people living in the United States. But now that they made the wrong choice, now that they voted against their best interests, they are now learning that poverty and suffering is not only for the black people, it's for everybody living in the United States. Now that they have their Medicare, Medicaid slashed off, they have their SNAP benefits gone, they have their businesses closing, they are learning that poverty and suffering was not made for black people in the United States. Because at the moment, black people are not even complaining. Black people are minding their own businesses. Black people, were psychologically prepared for this administration after Trump won the 2024 elections, because they knew that if Trump was going to win the 2024 elections, all this was going to happen. They were prepared. That's why they were even warning the white people in the United States against voting for this current administration. They were even asking them to take their time to go through Project 2024. They were telling them that Trump was not the best candidate, because according to black people in the United States, the best candidate was Kamala Harris, because she was going to change America. She was going to, better the economy of the United States. Trump made false promises to his supporters. He told them that when he becomes the president, the economy of the United States was going to be better. He lied to them that he was going to lower the prices of eggs, of groceries, of gas, of everything in the United States. He was going to lower the cost of living in the United States, but that's not the case. So white people feel betrayed. They are even coming out publicly to regret their votes. And now that reality is hitting them, they are coming out publicly in social media to claim that, to confess that they thought that poverty and suffering was for the black people, because white people have been brainwashed to believe that black people are the ones that are supposed to be suffering, because black people are lazy, black people depend on the government welfare for their survival in the United States. Black people don't like working. Black people are drug traffickers. All the negative compliments about black people in the United States. White people have lived to believe that black people are the ones that are supposed to be suffering in the United States until the same poverty and suffering knocked on their door. Now reality is hitting them hard, because they have all their Medicare, Medicaid gone. Some of them lost their SNAP benefits. White farmers are now closing their businesses, going bankrupt. The cost of living in the United States is very high at the moment, and the only people who are complaining are the white people, not the black people, because black people are used on grinding on their own. They are used to working on themselves. And that's why some of the white people are wondering, why is it that black people are not complaining? Why is it that black people are silent on Trump, or especially during this economic crisis? It's because according to black people were prepared. Black people knew that this was going to happen. They expected it. And some of the white people are even coming out asking black people for unity so that they can fight this poverty, they can fight this economic crisis together. But black people are still silent. Black people are saying that this is not their fight because they want them against all this. They want them against voting for the current administration. But because of their hatred to the black people, because of their racism against the black people, they voted for this current administration so that they can punish the black people. And now black folks are glad that reality is hitting the white folks. They are now learning that poverty and suffering is for everybody, because they were delusioned that black people in the United States are the ones that are supposed to be suffering. They are the ones that are supposed to live in poverty. And now the same white folks are the ones that are living in poverty. They are the ones that are suffering. Reality is hitting them. Yeah, so please let me know what are your thoughts and opinions about this video in the comment section. Stay safe. See you in the next episode.